Hello, livestock friends, and welcome to this edition of Before the Bid. This is a podcast dedicated to the livestock sales industry where we go behind the scenes of the operation and speak straight to the sellers. We discuss topics about the important aspects of their operation, location, the people behind the prep work, and talk about some of the animals that will be offered to you, the prospective buyers. Hopefully, you've got your sale catalog close by. You might have to go look through that pile on your desk. But if not, then you're probably like me and driving down the road or busy with chores around the farm. And that's okay too. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you enjoy this segment of Before the Bid. I'm your host, Andy Howell. Welcome, livestock friends, to this edition of Before the Bid. And on this one, we go talk some Hereford and some Angus cattle out in Illinois. And these guys are going to have a sale, and that sale is on September 11th, and it is in Chrisman, Illinois. And on this podcast, I'm talking to a guy, the herdsman for this operation, and he's a guy that went to college at College of the Ozarks. He grew up in the cattle business and showed some Herefords and some Shorthorns. So when he was at school, he was working for this outfit, and they said, hey, if you don't have a job, why, we want you to come work for us. And so he did that and did a nice job with that and doing a nice job here. He's been there for 9 years and actually told me a little bit ago he met his wife when he first got there to this operation. So want to congratulate him on that, and what a good move that was. So they have a sale that they call it Striving for Integrity, and it is the Lorenzen Farms sale. And on this podcast, I'm talking with Adam Harms from Lorenzen Farms. And Adam, I want to welcome you to the podcast, and appreciate you getting things going. And it sounds like things have been a pretty good move there to Chrisman, Illinois.
Yeah. Thanks again, Andy, for having me. I'm real excited about putting this out here. It's been a exciting, busy 9 years, like you can imagine. But things are going in the right direction, and cow herd's never been better. And just look forward to offering some good stock to everybody.
Well, Adam, let's back up. Let's talk a little bit of your history and how you got into this and how you got to Lorenzen Farms and how all of that went. And then we can kind of go into some history and things at Lorenzen Farms and what you do.
So like you alluded to, I grew up over in Quincy, Illinois, showing kind of locally at some county fairs, and my extended family raised some Herefords. So I always kind of knew who Steve Lorenzen was. He's been around a long time, and while I was down there at college, I was always kind of on the road on weekends helping some guys out, and I was helping a buddy of mine up here in Illinois that was a neighbor, and we took some cattle to some shows for Steve, and that's when I really got to know him good and came up and helped at a couple sales. And yeah, it was there at the American Royal one day after we got done showing. It was the fall before I graduated. He said, "What are you doing when you get done, when you graduate?" I said, "I really don't know yet." And he said, "Well, if you don't have a job, you've got one." And so I came up later that spring and visited, started 10 days after I graduated. So that's where I met my wife, and now got two little boys. Chisholm's going to be 5 and Colt's going to be 3. So it's a crazy household, but it's fun, and always stay busy. And Steve treats me like I'm the only non-family member that works on the farm, but he treats me just like I am family. So I couldn't ask for a better place to end up.
Oh, well, that's great. And you didn't just start when you were younger. You've got a little bit deeper history in the agriculture field and in the cattle and in the livestock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My dad grew up on a hog farm. Grandpa Ken raised hogs the old way, out on dirt.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Midley sheds. At his peak, he was running around 200 head of sows out on dirt. He always was up there every chance I got, but my mom's dad grew up just half a mile down the road from him, and they farmed a little bit and ran some commercial cows. Like I said, he grew up showing and raising Hereford cattle. And to go back even further, my mom's parents met while they were both showing at the Chicago International.
Oh, wow.
My grandma was showing Angus cattle, and my grandpa at the time was working for an Angus outfit, and that's where they actually met.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, showing goes back a long ways, and I said, yeah, me and my cousins would drag a bunch big strings to a bunch of county fairs back when there still were a lot of county fairs, and seems like that's kind of died off. But yeah, just really enjoy just raising cattle and good cattle and the showing side of it, and it's just fun. The people that you meet.
When I used to drive across Illinois and Iowa, you'd see all those little hog barns out there, and you said he raised them on dirt. Did he raise them out of those little hog
Yep.
barn sheds and got to drive them in there?
Grandpa Ken had a row of a concrete slab that he had 100 Smidley sheds,
Holy cow!
orange huts, and that's what he farrowed in. That's what he weaned pigs in, and then as soon as those pigs were weaned, the sows went back out into huge, just dirt lots.
Oh,
And
wow.
he had a concrete slab that he drove up and fed sows every day, and he fattened out. Eventually, towards the end, because he got out there in the mid 90s, late 90s is when he got out of the hog deal. But he did finally, the only confinement he ever had was he put up 3 hoop barns that he finally started fattening hogs out in.
Oh, wow.
But other than that, everything was out on dirt.
So hard work just kind of comes through the family, right? Or hard
Yeah.
workers, I guess, if he's
Yep,
doing that.
yep,
Holy cow.
yep. Yeah, I don't know that I would. I haven't ever met a man that has worked as hard as my grandpa Ken did raising all those hogs and the amount of water he hauled. And he never. It's funny that my grandpa never once had a. He never had a front wheel assist tractor.
Oh,
He never had a Ranger. He had a 4-wheel drive pickup, and that poor pickup did a lot.
Whew, to see that many of them all in a row, that'd be a lot of work.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It was always a neat deal. I mean, like I said, we'll get to it. The Lorenzens raise hogs now, and they're all in confinement, and Tracy Lorenzen, who runs that hog deal, he's always giving me crap. Oh, it's nice and warm in here. And I tell him, I'm like, hey, I would have no problem working with hogs, but I ain't stepping foot in them dang buildings. I said, I'll do it back outside any day like Grandpa did, but I ain't going in them dadgum buildings.
Right. Well, you kind of led into it. Let's go into the Lorenzen farm a bit, and we're going to get to the cattle, but they raise the hogs, so you kind of accustomed to that as well. So tell us, if you would, just a little about the hog operation, the livestock, and then we can get into the cattle.
Yeah, so Tracy Lorenzen would be Steve Lorenzen's cousin. The farm's made up of two sets of brothers who are cousins, so their dads started the farm. But Tracy runs about 150 head of purebred York sows, raising and selling show pigs, replacement gilts, boars. That hog deal, it's an up and down deal, but he's on cloud 9 right now. He actually raised the new world record selling York gilt this past summer at the expo over in Indy. Sold for 56,000 a gilt that he raised. He had a heck of a run this summer. Sold a couple litter mates for a chunk of money. Sold a little litter mate boar for 30-some thousand. And
oh, wow!
So yeah, Tracy is very well known in the hog industry. I've been to National Western in Denver, standing in next to our stalls, and somebody walked up and said, "I didn't know Lorenzen's had cattle." Tracy, everybody knows Tracy. Like, it seems like everybody knows who Tracy is. So, Tracy's got that deal going. It's going really good, and we're pretty diverse when it comes to that. And then we're farming about 5,500 acres of row crop. So they got a big farm crew, and I'm lucky enough I don't have to do too much in the spring, but in the fall here I'll sit in a semi for a couple weeks, when I need to, hauling some grain. And I tell everybody I might live in Illinois, but I'm more of a cowboy than a plowboy.
Right.
So I try to stick to the cows as much as possible.
Right. Well, that sounds good. That's kind of the way I'd like to do it too, I guess. So now, are they just corn and beans? Do they have anything else that they're?
Yeah, it's mainly corn and beans. They do a little bit of wheat just for the straw for the cattle, and then so we have a place to haul hog manure in the summertime.
Okay.
So maybe 100 acres of wheat a year, not much, just enough to have a place to pump some hog manure and get some straw for the cattle. And other than that, it's corn and beans, and we'll chop a bunch of silage for cow feed, and then I think there's probably 500 acres of hay ground too that we've got for all the hay for the cows.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
Now, do you get into the haying at all?
Yep, I'll get in on some haying when we need to. Steve's boy Robert kind of helps out. He's the floater, I always call. He helps out up at the hog barns every morning, and of an afternoon here in the summertime, he's usually one in the baler.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he can't be in it, then I'll hop in it if I need to. But yeah, he's Rob's kind of the head hay guy.
Okay. Well, guys, believe it or not, Lorenzen has cattle.
Yep, we do.
And they have some Hereford and Angus cattle, and Steve, man, he sounds like a heck of a guy that really has built a thing, and really not just recently, but a lot of deep history in the cattle operation and in the cattle field.
Steve's had cattle in his name ever since he was, I think, 10 years old. His dad had Hereford cattle clear back when they started the farm in 1948. And then when Steve kind of got old enough and started taking over, they've had registered cattle since the early 60s. We're running up over 250 head of mama cows right now, about 200 head of Hereford cows and 50, 60 head of Angus cows. Steve's been in it a long time. He's had a lot of ups and downs, but back then he's always kind of had a passion for the showing side of things, and he was lucky enough there in the mid to late 80s and early 90s. Heck, they won junior nationals several times. Steve's daughters and son had some junior national winners, multiple state fair winners back when you could hit several state fairs in a year. Steve would go from Wisconsin to Indianapolis to Illinois to Kentucky. I mean, you could hit all those state fairs, boom, 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 and now they're kind of all on top of each other. But yeah, so he's had a real deep run in this thing, and we were lucky enough. I didn't even tell you that we were lucky enough this year to get awarded through the Illinois Beef Association. We were the 2021 Seed Stock Breeder of the Year.
Yeah.
This year, so that was a really neat deal for Steve. Steve spent his life developing this herd, and it's just an honor that he put trust in a young guy right out of college to come help him and to learn from him and kind of take over and do some things. We talk every day, but pretty well kind of lets me do my thing, and we talk about some bigger decisions, but he kind of said, hey, here it is, and let's run with it, and so it's been great to learn from him every day. You consider him one of the best cowmen in the country. He's very well known, very well respected. He's one of those guys that handshake and you can guarantee it's going to happen, and that's why we kind of came up with the name Striving for Integrity. And then Steve gives me crap when I came up with that name last year. He's like, well, I thought I already had integrity. I didn't think we were still striving for it.
Right.
But no, that's just kind of the backbone of the operation. He's just integrity and hard work, and he's worked so hard his whole life to get this deal to where it's at, and it's just an honor to be able to keep taking it on.
Kind of talked about it a little earlier too, but why did he need an Adam Harms to come in?
Yeah, he's just so busy. Steve's kind of the head of the whole operation, so he does the bookwork for the farming side of things, for the cattle side, for the hog side. I mean, he's just so busy. And before me, his brother was in on the operation, and his brother was kind of the one that was kind of doing the rodent stuff and working on some cattle. And then with some things, he had to step aside. So he really, it'd probably been 10 years or so, he just never really had somebody to solely take over it. His grandsons were young and are finally getting of age where they're starting to get out of school and stuff and taking an interest. But he just was just so busy that when you're farming that much ground and got all the hay in and stuff, it's funny. So the first time he won junior nationals, when his daughter won junior nationals the first time, Steve wasn't even there.
Oh, wow.
Because Steve had to be home taking care of the farm.
Oh, wow.
So he wasn't even present when his daughter won her very first junior nationals. And that just shows you just how busy things are around here. And so he just needed some help getting some stuff done. And so that's what it's been great to work with him side by side. Like I said, I'm the only non-family member, but he sure treats me like I am family.
Well, that's great. Oh, I missed the first one. My dad used to always say, "Yeah, somebody's got to stay home and finance this thing." So,
Yeah,
so you think
yeah.
that might have been what that was about?
Yep. I think he was, if I remember right, he was having to stay home and bale hay. So he was sweating his back off baling hay, and got the phone call that, hey, Steph won junior nationals, and he was had to go finish unloading hay instead of going celebrating with him.
Wow, yeah. Oh, geez, that'd be a great phone call to get, but when you just go, oh my gosh, sure wish I could have been there. So, and we talked earlier, they've shown on the national level and taken pins of bulls and things like that to Denver and just been around quite a while.
Steve has exhibited cattle at every Hereford Junior National since they started. Him or his brother or his daughter or his kids are now grandkids. And it's funny because now that my kids are getting close to being old enough, Chisholm will be 5 here. Well, Connor, the youngest grandson that's showing, he already figured out that his last year showing will be Chisholm's first year.
Oh, wow.
So we always joke that Steve will never miss a junior nationals. We might be rolling him in on a wheelchair, but he's still got a bunch of junior nationals he can hit.
Oh, wow, that's neat. We also talked, Steve's not a guy that, you talked about if the trailer leaves, what needs to be on that trailer?
Trailer's going to a show, it might as well be full. And that's one reason why me and him get along so good, because when he was young growing up, he worked for he roaded a lot of cattle for several older breeders around the state. And, back then dragging 10, 15, 20 head by yourself was no big deal, and we take some pretty good strings around. We'll have 8 to 12 head at junior nationals. We had 7 head at Illinois State Fair a couple weeks ago. Couple pins going to Oklahoma City and some other bulls. So we'll have 8 to 10 head going down there. So yeah, when the show barn's full, it's full.
Right. Yeah,
Yep.
it's some of those guys. They may not understand the 4 or 5 months getting ready for those to have a trailer full. That's a lot of work for those guys in the show barn.
I really wouldn't know what it would be like to only just have like 1 or 2 heifers to work on all summer. I mean, I think I would get bored. Just going to Illinois State Fair, we had 7 head going to Illinois State Fair in the barn. I was starting to break sale babies. I think there's 14 heifer calves in the sale, so I had over 20 head in the show barn for the month going up to State Fair. So yeah, it's the barn's always full, but that's just how me and him would both have it.
Right.
So,
and you guys had some success there at the Junior Nationals this year.
Yeah. A bull that we bought that we'll talk about here a little later. Daughter of his was won her division and was reserve bred known heifer for the people that we bought the bull from, and then a bull that we took that we'll again talk about here in a little bit. He's had a heck of a good summer. He was reserve division behind the bull that was reserve champion overall. Same bull was reserve champion at the Indiana State Preview Show, and then just a week or so ago was reserve champion at Illinois State Fair. So yeah, we've had a good summer.
You weren't just reserve this year, right?
Yeah, that's I'm stuck in the rut, but I guess it's the good rut to be stuck in. We've had a reserve champion bull at the Illinois State Fair the last 4 years in a row.
Right.
So remember it would have been in 2017, 18, 19, and then we didn't have one last year, but 21. So yeah, 4 years in a row we've had reserve champion bull.
And with that trailer load, you guys show quite a few pins and carloads and things like that.
Yeah. We when I first started, we were just taking hill cattle out to Denver, and my first experiences was with Denver was down in the yards, helping guys on some carloads and some pens down in the yards. And I told Steve, I was like, I think we've got the kind of cattle that would just work down there in the yards and get some new customers. So yeah, we've taken pens of heifers or a pen of bulls ever since 2016. We've been fortunate enough, every pen of heifers we've ever taken have gotten a piece of a division, either reserved or champion division in their pen, in the pen show. We just this past year in Oklahoma City had champion spring pen of heifers. So yeah, we've had some success out there, and so that's worked out really good, where we take a pen of heifers or a pen of bulls, and then maybe another bull or two prospects to show in the open show, like on the hill. We've had several class winners in the bull show up on the hill in Denver those years. And so yeah, the National Western, Oklahoma City have all been very good marketing points for us to get out of the state and out of the Midwest and stack up our cattle with the best ranches in the country. And that's been a really good opportunity for us.
Right. And I want to get to one of the neatest things to me here a little bit later about this show cattle deal and about your cow operation. But sales, to go along with all the showing, sales are not brand new to this operation.
Like I said, Steve's been having a production sale on the farm since the early 70s, late 60s. I remember last year when we started it back, we kind of had about a 5-year downtime. After I got here, we decided, hey, let's kind of take a break and get the herd kind of reorganized and stuff. But yeah, back there in the 80s, he was selling some really dang good heifers right off this farm. Had a sale, and because I remember last year when we went to I was like, well, Steve, we got to have a sale block. And he was like, oh, heck, I got one. And sure enough, sitting up in the rafters of the old show barn was a sale block. And so we dug it out and hosed it off and put a fresh coat of paint on it. And he said he was pretty sure that sale block got put up there 18 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And we dug it out and started using it again.
Conservative, right?
Yep.
Oh, well, that's neat. Yeah, and it's got the history. You know, how many good cattle and high dollar cattle have sold in front of that block? Because you were telling me in the 80s. I mean, in the 80s we weren't selling. You know, you guys weren't selling $1,500, $2,000 cattle.
Yeah, back there in the 80s and stuff, he was selling $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 heifers off this farm. Like I said, we're there when he was really going hot and winning a lot of shows, winning a lot of junior nationals. Yeah, he was one of the hot spots in the country. He was selling some darn good ones for some good money off this place.
Mm-hmm. And then he brings Adam in, and then we kind of take a break from the sales and things like that, and that kind of gets me into what's so neat about your cow herd. What do you think? What are some of the goals of your cow herd, and what do you guys look for and look at, and then how does that kind of go into the show cattle?
Yeah, so our kind of cow mentality is first off, for being in the state of Illinois, we still got to be able to look at them. Steve's like, he can have the best herd on paper, but he likes to look at good cattle. Mm-hmm. And we both like just stouter cattle, functional cattle, big-footed, big-legged. Udder quality is super important. We sort on udders really, really hard. So, and with where we're at, we don't really have much of a bull market. Mm-hmm. I mean, in East Central Illinois, this spring was a tremendous year. I sold 15 head of bulls this spring, mm-hmm. which is unheard of for being in East Central Illinois, because there's just not the cattle.
Right.
So, but we strive to really make those females that'll work for any sector. I like making females that those guys in Illinois or in the Midwest can take and breed to a bull and get a wicked good show heifer, or you like those cattle that you can breed to the stout guy and make some herd bulls. And so we try to kind of stay really centered on how we raise and what we breed for. We don't breed for show, but mm-hmm. if they end up being able to show, that's just a bonus to us. We try to make good functional stout cows first, and if they can show, then that's just a bonus to us.
All you guys, all your success and everything that you guys have won, and there's a whole lot of people that gear straight towards that, and I just really appreciate you guys just want to breed good cattle. And they can
we
show
want
and
to breed
do
really
well.
good stout cattle first, and like I said, if they show, that's just a bonus. We love showing. We use that as a really big marketing tool, but that's not our main goal. They got to be good cattle first.
Right. And I guess is the plan to continue on in the next several years? Is that the plan? Just keep gearing towards that and doing the same?
Yep, that's kind of what our main goal is, just to kind of keep that good stout functional cow herd going. And like I said, when we talked earlier, when it comes to trying to decide what to sell, that can somewhat be a struggle between the boss man and herdsman, sometimes. So we finally decided that to best suit our customers and stuff, we sell every 5-year-old cow every year. So that gives us an opportunity to get a replacement for that cow. But then those cows have been cold hard for the first 3 years, and so Steve calls it the sale of the survivors. They've been cold through. We know they work, and they're still right there in the prime of their life. A lot of the cows we're selling, their mothers would still be around. Sometimes their grandmothers would still be around. A couple of years ago, the average age of this cow herd had to be close to 8+.
Oh, wow.
We've still got a couple 13, 14-year-old cows running around doing their thing, and they're doing it awesome. So, yeah, longevity is a big part of our deal, too. So, yeah, that's just kind of what we strive for, and want cattle that are going to go on and work for the new owner and work for a long time.
Right. So we're not selling the leftover 5-year-olds that we don't, these are still kind of here, but we're not really wanting those anymore. You guys are selling the top 5-year-olds because all the 5-year-olds are offered. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. We last year, I'm not gonna lie, last year Steve held a couple back on me, and this year I said, nope, we're not gonna do it. Everyone is gonna sell. I said if you want something more out of that one, we'll keep a flush on her, or we work with a really good. Our vet does a tremendous job at flushing. I said I can work with Doc Brittany and we'll get them flushed before the sale. But every 5-year-old on the place, every Hereford 5-year-old in our inventory is in this sale.
Wow. Well, that's a great offering, and the way you guys have called them down and made sure that they're the best 5, and I'm gonna offer all those. That's saying a lot of integrity right there in that.
Yeah, yep, and that's kind of what we're shooting for.
Well, that's a great offering, and you kind of came up with that, right?
Yeah. I was trying to, because like I said, Steve's just known for his integrity, and so I was trying to come up with a name for the sale last year, and I was trying to think of the Integrity Alliance, but there's already a sale named that, and I'm not even sure where I came up for striving for integrity. And then, of course, Steve, in his joking way, said, well, what the heck? I thought we already had integrity. I didn't think we were still striving for it.
Right.
But I think it's kind of an interesting name, that just puts integrity in there, and we're always striving to up that integrity and keep things going.
Right. And you also kind of came up with selling the 5-year-olds, or and you guys had a discussion about that. Can you let us in on a little of that?
Yeah, because like I said, when I would be like, okay, hey, we need to sell this cow, and Steve's like, well, whoa, no, she ain't going nowhere. That's one of our best cows,
Right.
And I'm like, Steve, if we're going to have a sale, we're going to sell some good ones. So I said, pick 4s or 5s. And he was kind of like, well, what do you mean? I said, pick 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds. And of course he went with the latter because he had to make sure we can get an extra chance to get a daughter out of them. And I said, pick that age and we're going to sell every one. So we've got a chance to keep a couple of replacements out of that cow, and it's exciting when people come and visit the farm and not only go through the sale offering this year, but because this is all the 2016s. Well, then you go out and pasture and look at all those 2017s, and they're that much better.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the 2018s, and Steve's even joked around. He was like, I don't know. Come 2 years, I don't know if we're going to be able to sell some of these. I mean, that's a darn good set of 3-year-olds. And I'm like, no, we're gonna keep this deal going. And every 5-year-old.
Right. Yeah. The fun struggle, but interesting struggle between herdsman and owner, right?
Yep. Yep.
Fathers and sons have that discussion too, all the time. Believe me,
Yeah.
I have a pretty decent idea as to what you kind of go through on that. We need to sell this one. We better hold on to that one.
Yeah.
So I can absolutely understand where that comes from. So
Yeah.
Adam, let's get into the sale just a bit. You guys have invited some consigners to come into this sale and help make up some more quality cattle and some more quality lots in the sale. And if you would, just kind of fill us in on who those guys are.
Yeah. So the first one is the Edinburgh family. They're from just east of Champaign up there. Steve and Buddy and Bailey go way back. Buddy never really grew up on a farm, never really was a cattle guy, but his daughter Bailey kind of got intrigued with it, and they reached out to Steve and built a really good, close partnership and family, and just friendship. So just a really good family, runs 15, 20 head of cows that we've, a lot of Steve's and our breeding goes into that herd, and just a really good young family to work with. Bacon, sheep, and cattle, they're and this will sound kind of funny, they come up from Arkansas. So Steve and Debbie and Craig go way back, just through knowing each other, through showing at junior nationals and stuff, and we've partnered on several donor cows, several cows, bulls. So they're just another really good friendship and partnership that brings up a really good set of bred heifers every year. And then Keaton Dobbs is just south of us here, about an hour. Me and Keaton kind of go back, good buddies. He kind of comes and helps me when I need help at Oklahoma City and going to some of these bigger shows, and has used some of our bulls and stuff in his breeding program. And he's got another small breeder, 15, 20 head, but a really, really nice set of cows. He's done a lot of work on building that little cow herd up, and so he brought a tremendously good 33Z cow into the sale this year, and will really be a good asset to the sale coming on in later years.
Mm-hmm. So these consigners, they're not just their own deal. They've kind of used quite a bit of you guys' genetics, and so they're basically bringing some of those genetics back to the sale to just add to that, right?
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, they've all kind of, a lot of stuff will go back to LF breeding, and like I said, just the friendship and the partnership that they've had, and they're really good breeders in their own right. And yeah, they just kind of bring some stuff that kind of follows along our same line of what we try to sell, and just offer some different ages. Bacon's bring up a really good set of bred heifers. Edinburgh's got a couple really nice bred heifers, and Keaton's got a good young cow, because just not everybody, you get those customers that are looking for some bred heifers. And like I said, we don't really part with any breds. We always keep back all of our bred heifers. So that was just a way to get a different age group, but follow along the same breeding philosophy to the sale.
Right. Well, that's an excellent thought. So, Adam, if they're listening to this and they may not have a catalog in hand, where can they go and find this catalog as we go through these cattle? If they're not watching the podcast video, or may not have access to that, but they should have access. It's on Facebook and on our YouTube channel and things like that. But if they want to look through that catalog at the same time as they kind of go through this, where can they find that if they don't have one in hand?
So you can find it if you go to, we have a website, but it's kind of an older website that needs some updating. So the catalog's not on our website, but you can find it on the American Hereford Association website. Seems like everybody has Facebook. If you go to Lorenzen Farms Facebook page, there's a link there where you can find the sale catalog. I believe it's on Adam Sweigert's website, Swigert Cattle Photography. But like I said, yeah, the easiest place is just right there, either on our Facebook page or on the American Hereford website.
Okay. Yeah, so they can follow along. But again, if you want to see some of these, why watch the podcast video when we get it put together, and it'll be out very shortly if it's not already when this comes out. So be another great place to see them. But yeah, check out that catalog. These guys have done a great job of putting a catalog together, and got all the info in there that you need about things going on there on Friday the 10th, and also on Saturday the 11th, with the activities and lunch and the sale beginning at noon there. And so you can get all kinds of, man, if you can't get a hold of somebody to be able to look at cattle, why you're not looking the right way, because these guys have, how many names are on there? There are 20 names and phone numbers or something like that on there.
There's a lot of them. I always tell Steve, I was like, we might not just have a lot of lots, but I know I've got a lot of good friends and I got a good eye, so I'm going to load it full of contacts for as many people as possible to get in touch with.
Right, yeah, and so there's 4 or 5 sales consultants there and the sales staff, so any of those, I'm sure, feel free to get a hold of those guys. Also, they can bid on live auctions.
Brooklyn, Graham, and Margot are going to take care of the live auctions side of it. So yeah, it'll be up on live auctions. I believe it's already on their schedule and everything. So yeah, yep, you can bid right up on that.
Okay. Well, that sounds awesome. Well, Adam, we've picked out a couple lots that you wanted to talk about, and so if you're ready, let's just get right into those.
Yeah.
You open the catalog, and there he is, this really good-looking bull here, and you guys are going to offer some sex semen on this bull.
I was telling you earlier, one of the things about Steve is his ability to go and find herd bulls. He's been in on some of the greatest Hereford bulls there ever has been. To not get sidetracked, but most people, if you know Hereford cattle, you know Rheumatoid Online 122L. Oh, good old Online. Well, Steve was actually the man that went to Canada and found Online and brought him to the U.S. Mm-hmm. And Online can be found in a lot of Hereford pedigrees. He found a bull called Renewal back in the day that raised a lot of champions. Most recently, 33Z that came from the Delaney operation. And then we lost 33Z too soon, but still not before he made his mark, and we sold a lot of semen, and that guy sired a lot of high sellers throughout the country. But then a couple of years ago, we went to we didn't actually even go. We bought this guy from me and Steve studying the catalog and watching his video. Mm-hmm. We call him Ears, Leader 182F. He's a leader son out of a wonder daughter that came from the Jensen program, Kevin and Ben and Brady and Sheila Jensen out there in Kansas. Just a really, really intriguing bull. He's leader, has been a very popular bull, has a lot of sons out there, but just within Ears, his first 2 calf crops, he's really risen to the top as one of the best leader sons there is. Like I said, within his first calf crop, he had sired high selling calves out of Jensen's online sale. The set of heifer calves that we took to Oklahoma City last year that won their division were all by him. And then this summer, he had a tremendous year. Bred and owned heifer for Ben Jensen was sired by him. Ben had another bred and owned bull that won his division that was sired by him. And we've been selling a lot of just conventional semen on him, and it was really at Junior Nationals where we had a lot of people coming up and saying, hey, especially with that heifer. That heifer was way good at Ben's. Mm-hmm. Said, hey, where's the sex semen at on him? We want some sex semen on Ears. And so I did some digging and talked it over with Steve, and he is actually at stud right now getting that semen collected on him. So we're just going to sell a little bit of it, probably 15 or 20 units. I believe Jensen's might sell a little bit, 15 or 20 units in their sale later on in October. And then that's going to be it until Oklahoma City. So you can always buy conventional semen on them. We have that on hand. But He's really an intriguing bull, and his set of EPDs is second to none, for cavities, for growth, for CHB, for ribeye. He's a moderate frame bull that just has loads of body and capacity, is so sound and so good at the ground, freckle-headed, goggle-eyed. He'll throw pigment, freckles, just big-bodied. But most importantly, those cattle are so good at the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are square-built. They're so good structurally. And he, like I said, just within the first 2 calf crops, he's done just a tremendous job. So I think that's a really unique opportunity to get in on, like I said, the very first sex semen that we're going to offer on him. There's not going to be a lot of it that is going to be offered.
Mm-hmm.
It'll mainly be offered kind of in this special sale scenarios. So get on it while you can. He's just a really intriguing leader son to get onto.
Yeah. Can we use that semen in the lot 1?
Yes, and that is one thing that I believe I put it in there. Yes, because if in the lot 1 is the pick of the herd flush, and if you win that, any bull that we have in our tank or in our battery, we will provide the semen on. And yes, we will provide, if you would like to do IVF or even a conventional flush with that sex semen, we would provide that for that.
Mm-hmm. So talk about the lot 1 just a bit.
Yeah. So last year we offered a flush on just kind of our 4 main donors that we've been using. Andrew Garnhart chose the 2062 cow, the Dam of Anchor, to flush, and flushed her to Montgomery. He's got, I think he ended up with 7 or 8 eggs out of that deal. We have flushed the Ricky cow extensively. She has done a tremendously good job for us. But I decided, and that was another, going back to the almost father-son conversations. That was almost oh yeah, Steve, by the way, I opened it up to the whole herd, not just a few of the donors that we've been flushing.
Uh-huh.
And he was all for it. He was all for it, because we haven't actually ever flushed a cow that is under 7 years of age.
Oh, wow.
Cows that we flush have proved themselves, but we have a tremendous good set of young cows coming on that are, I think, really fantastic and have proved themselves at a young age. So we're going to open that up. Like I said, there's over 150 head of cows to pick from. I think it's just a really unique opportunity. There's a lot of cows that we haven't flushed that I think, if funds were unlimited and recip cows were unlimited, we would have a lot of those cows flushed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said in there, Steve and I both have our list of favorites, and they're not small lists, because there's a certain pasture that people come into and they're like, good grief, this one heck of a set of cows. And they're like, well, where's some embryo calves out of these? And I'm like, not a single cow in here has ever been flushed.
Wow.
So it'd be a really unique opportunity to go into, like I said, one of the larger herds in the Midwest, one of the older herds in the Midwest, and really get in on what could be kind of the groundbreaking floor of some young cows or some good old tried and true ones.
Right. That may cost you a day or two with somebody coming out there and looking at all those and looking through the paperwork and trying to figure out what they want to do.
Yep, but heck, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I tell people all the time, I was like, if you really, really want to get through this cow herd, it's going to take a day, and I always joke, a case of beer. But
yeah.
But I gladly drop whatever I'm doing to go show people cows and talk cows with them. It's a fun herd to go through. The amount of daughters and granddaughters and granddams and the cow families that we have lined up with a herd this size, I can go show you brothers, sisters, mom, grandma. It's a really fun herd to kind of go through, and I really enjoy just talking the cows and going through those with the guys. So yeah, it'll be a fun experience for whoever wins that.
Right, that's neat. Yeah, and for yourself too. So that's a really, really neat offering you guys have there. If you turn the page, you got a heifer that just hits you right out of the gate here in the lot 2 and lot 2A. You wanted to talk about those just a bit.
Yeah, that's one heck of a good pair. That was like I said, one of the pairs that that I swear Steve was trying to hide that cow from me, so I didn't put her in it. But that's just one whale of a good cow. She's moderate in her type and kind, but stout, easy keeping, so good uddered, freckle-headed, goggle-eyed, and then just has a really interesting pedigree. Like I said, with Steve and finding herd bulls. So her sire, the LF78P ribeye, is a full brother to Ned and Jan Ward's cow boss bull. Ned and Jan Ward, of course, one of the more noteworthy Hereford operations, not only in the U.S. and the world. That 78P cow is arguably one of the best Hereford cows there was in the country. We got in on flushing her a couple times. So we have a full walking herd brother to their cow boss bull, and their cow boss bull just sired one of the top sets of bulls that they had ever sold in their bull sale this past spring. So she's kind of got some pedigree to her. On the bottom side, goes back to some really, is LF bred true and true on the very bottom side. Mm-hmm. But again, like I said, just a really interesting, moderate framed, super producing cow. Her first daughter is in herd. Her second calf was a herd bull over in the state of Indiana for the Duncan family. She's just done a whale of a job. And yeah, that 2A heifer calf is a special one. For as cool looking as she is, her pedigree doesn't scream that look or anything really, because she actually has 2 shots of that 78P cow in her, on the sire and the dam side. But that heifer calf is long as a freight train, is big, stout hipped, big topped, wicked good fronted, pigmented upright. It's redneck, red to the ground. That one's going to be a really fun one that somebody could grab a hold of and show. But most importantly, that one is going to be one whale of a cow when you get her into production. She will be a future donor, I'm most certain, for somebody. That's just a really, really special pair and really good place to start.
Yeah. Then, like I said, you turn that page and man, she just hits you like a freight train.
Yeah, she's as good a looking as you could ask for. She's gonna have plenty of body. She's so long. From her pole to her tailhead, she's a mile long, sound as a cat. That really cool color, and if you are wanting to show, she's got a wicked cool hair coat on her. She's got that perfect straight hair that just pops, and so yeah, she'll be a lot of fun come next summer for somebody, and then like I said, more importantly, down the road.
Well, that's awesome. And then we don't go backwards too much here with the lot 3.
Yeah, the lot 3 is actually goes back to the same cow family as the lot 2. The 0125 donor cow would be the dam to the lot 3 cow. We flushed her to 33Z, again, like a bull that I said has done just worlds of good. Udder quality is second to none in those daughters. This cow is a full brother to her. We sold Missouri State and Jernigan Ranch over in Missouri. Has just done a phenomenal job. But her first calf was a bull that we took to Denver in a pen. He is working at a herd down in Arkansas. Mr. Schmigelo down there sends me calf reports every year about how good those cattle are out of her first daughter or her first son. And then we're actually using an anchor son out of her to in herd really, really hard. He covered our best group of replacement heifers this year. That cow just is is stout, is long, good fronted, good EPD profile, and just immaculate udder quality. The udder quality is just unbelievable on that cow. Mating her to Ears, the 182F bull, was one of my really favorite ones. We really think a lot of that heifer calf. She has made leaps and bounds even since picture day. When we get ready to video here on September 1st, you'll see what I'm talking about. That calf has just come on, got loads of body, great fronted, super sound, and even a better EPD profile. And like I talked, she is the first of the heifers that we're going to keep back and take to Oklahoma City in January. I think that just speaks for how much we think of some of these heifer calves, that we're wanting to even retain some of them and take them to Oklahoma City for their new owner, and free of charge. We'll take them and down there and exhibit them in a pen, and she'll be right up there fighting for that leadoff heifer position. I guarantee it. That one's coming on like crazy.
Yeah, and you broke in and mentioned a little that you guys want to retain some of these heifers to take them down to Oklahoma to show them in a pen.
Yeah, we've had tremendous success doing that with our pens of heifers, and I think this set of heifers is going to follow in order with how we've done out there. I think this is probably the stoutest, most consistent set of heifers that we'll try and take. And it was kind of a tough decision, It was, okay, do we sell these and then do we go try to find another set of heifers? But I think it just speaks for, not to be cliche, the integrity that we have and how we stand behind these cattle 100%. I mean, we think that they're of that quality, so we'll keep them at our place, and I'll take care of them just like they were my own still, and we'll get them down there and exhibit them as best as we can.
What a great thing to do for customers, and it just shows what kind of cattle you guys have in this sale. You're not just selling stuff you want to get rid of. You're selling stuff that you want to show and be proud of. So
yeah, yep.
And yep. I'm gonna guess the lot 6A goes along with those heifers.
Yes, yep, she does. So that lot 6 pair, I have, everybody has their favorites, and between her and the lot 2 pair, I go back and forth every day. Mm-hmm. The lot 6 cow is a daughter out of the Ricky donor that's pictured on the other page, sired by our Achiever son. So I didn't really get into it, but 2 of those 4 years we had a reserve champion bull at Illinois State Fair. Both of those bulls were sired by that 3063 bull. Mm-hmm. He's kind of our power, just performance, look, combo bull. That lot 6 cow is a typical Ricky cow, awesome structured, awesome udder quality. Just has a little extra oomph to her. Mm-hmm. And that heifer calf has that heifer calf out of years, like it says in the footnotes. That was probably the mating I was most excited about. Mm-hmm. Because I just knew, having seen some calves out of ears, that combo was really going to work, and it did. That heifer calf has so much body to her, and so good and elegant fronted, and just sound as a cat, but still has that top shape and that hip shape and that lower quarter. Again, like I said, that's another heifer that has come leaps and bounds since we pictured her. I'm really looking forward to getting the video of her out there. Like I said, that's just another one that I'm really, really excited about. And like I mentioned, having 2 little boys, that heifer calf is a puppy dog. Mm-hmm. Tism, my 4-year-old, leads her around the show barn.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. How's he going to feel about when she sells then? Well, I guess she'll get to stay around, won't she?
Yeah. She at least she'll get to stick around for a little while. He was asking that the other night while we were out there kicking out heifers. He was like, well, what are all these cows doing here? I said, well, they're in our sale. And he said, huh? I'm like, yeah, they're going in the sale. And he was, what, why? So
the hard lesson for youngsters, right?
Yep.
I have one of those myself, and getting rid of some of those and some of those steers and that sort of thing. It's a little rough on them.
Yep.
Let's skip over a little and talk about this lot 14. She's kind of hidden there on page 10, because you go to 12 and you go to 13, and 14 is down there on page 10. Yeah,
so 14, we didn't get her picture just because she was so young. Mm-hmm. So she's a little May embryo calf. So when we went up to a good buddy of mine, Travis Pierce, up in Wisconsin, heck, we went up there in 15 or 16, I believe it was, and saw this JWoww cow of his, and we were just like floored with that cow. That cow was just unbelievably good, and a 109 Catapult 109 daughter of hers went on to be grand champion heifer at the 2018 American Royal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before that even happened, we had already bought some full sib embryos to that cow,
Mm-hmm.
to this heifer. And to be honest, I almost even forgot about them. I didn't even realize that we had put one of those embryos in, and we have a 2017 model of that. That's a full sister to that heifer that won,
Mm-hmm.
and she is just unbelievably good. And then I was like, this past year when we were putting eggs in, I was like, well, heck, I got 2 of those left. I better put those back in.
Right.
And we ended up with this little May heifer calf. Like I said, she's young. She is actually on a 2-year-old recip cow. We put those eggs in a virgin heifer, but she's doing a really good job. She is really coming on. That heifer is so stout, so good fronted, tons of body to her. I mean, that heifer is really going to be intriguing and fun. All she needs is just time and feed.
Mm-hmm.
Is one of the younger heifers in the sale, but that's just a really, really intriguing deal. When I even called Travis and told him, I said, hey, I need a picture of that cow, that heifer that won. And he was like, what for? And I said, well, we bought those embryos that are full sibs to that one. He's like, you didn't put all those in yet? Well, now I have. I said, we got a little baby to her, that's a full sister. And
Right.
he even made me feel even better. So that 2018 champion, he said some of his best calves this year are out of her.
Oh, wow.
So that cow is really that pedigree, and that has really worked really good. And that's just kind of an interesting, not any of our breeding, but one breeding that we stand behind and has really, really worked good for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a really exciting calf to have in the sale.
Just make sure you don't miss her. She is kind of down there on the bottom of that page 10, so so don't miss that one. The lot 15 also in the Hereford division.
Yeah. So I alluded to it earlier. We had a really good bull that had a heck of a summer showing. So this lot 15 is a maternal sister to that bull that we had that was reserved at a couple shows, reserve division at junior nationals. And I'll be the first to say it. You walk into a pen, you probably wouldn't pick her out.
Mm-hmm.
But that girl can flat raise them.
Mm-hmm.
So the daughter that is pictured in that was her first calf. She was a member of the champion division pen of heifers we had out at Denver. That daughter went on to be the high-selling heifer in the sale last year to the Crutzer family down there by Effingham. That cow is so good uddered, so smooth bodied, so smooth shouldered, big bodied, super sound. And to me, the even bonus is, like I said, she's a maternal brother to that bull, but she's bred to Screenshot, which that bull was a Screenshot.
Oh, wow.
So inside her will be a 3/4 sib to that bull that has been so popular for us.
Oh, wow.
That's just one that I really, really think, like I said, when people get there, they might be like, huh? But as she starts to bag up when she gets closer to calving, the udder on her is just unbelievable, and that girl can just flat raise one.
Mm-hmm.
We took her fall calf from this past, from 2020. We took the state fair, won his class at the Illinois State Fair. Like I said, that girl can just raise them.
Right.
She does a tremendous job, and that's going to be one whale of a buy for somebody.
That's always neat when those cows can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You go show them, hey, this is her mother, and they're like, really?
Yeah, like I said, you wouldn't necessarily pick her out,
Right.
but if udder quality is your thing, and so that bull that we did so good with, we have a full sister that's just a fall calf to him,
Mm-hmm.
who would be another maternal sister to her. She was very, very popular in our spring at State Fair. So that cow, that 4111 cow, her mother is, again, one of those really good cows that I said has never been flushed. That would be at the top of my list for the lot 1 pick of the herd flush.
Right.
and never has been, but hopefully will be soon, because that 4111 cow, like I said, goes back a long, long ways. LF bred on the bottom side, and is just a tremendous cow.
Another really neat offering. And so we haven't talked much about the Angus cattle, but you guys are going to offer some Angus cattle as well in this sale.
Steve likes to say the Angus herd is kind of our hidden secret. Steve's had Angus cows for going on 40 years.
Oh, wow.
Started that herd. He never once looked at a pedigree. He never once looked at an EPD. He went and found stout, big-bodied, big-legged, good-footed, functional Angus cows, and he just started gathering them up. So the very bottom side of a lot of these pedigrees are kind of unknowns to a lot of people. What I did there several years ago was went and bred that older base of cows to some newer bulls. So there's several Insight daughters that are just super good uddered, super good looking, but have that extra stoutness, extra power to them. The Lot 32 cow, her mother we bought from the Lemonager family, from Chuck and Luke Lemonager. Again, just kind of follows on. When we go and buy Angus cattle, we really still don't look at pedigree a whole lot. We look at the cattle. And that B53 cow is just a powerhouse, sired by a full brother to first class out of a Northern Improvement. For an Insight, she is perfect uddered. The bull that's the sire to the 32A cow is a bull that we raised. Again, kind of the same line, so has a little bit of pedigree in there, is out of a style daughter, but then goes back kind of old school. So goes back to Sagahatchee, and then that Rosetta R306 was a 004 daughter. So kind of goes back to that power and mass on the side of things, and that 5120 of the style up bull has done just a whale of a job for us. Those cattle are super stout, big hipped, big legged, just pack on the pounds, just a really kind of has some known pedigree, but then some kind of not so known that we kind of tried to mesh, and has worked really, really good. And that 32A heifer calf is big topped, big legged, really good looking, long as a freight train. And like I said, we don't try to raise show cattle, and I really am not trying to play the Angus show game, but that's one that I think could withstand a halter, at some shows, but is just going to go make a whale of a cow. That a guy, you breed either one of those two, and you can get some whale of a show heifer, or you can get some powerful herd bulls out of them.
The Lot 33's bred similar.
That Lot 33, again, kind of following along the same lines of kind of outcross, but still the power and stuff. That A1 cow we bought from Wooden Shoes out in Idaho. And that cow, we bought her as a bred heifer, and still to this day, I don't know that I have seen an Angus bred heifer that massive and powerful. When she calved out, she was weighing 1,550, 1,600 pounds. I mean, that girl's foot wouldn't fit in a 5-gallon bucket.
Oh, wow.
Like, huge footed. And her dam, the 27W cow, actually was a Denver national champion. Again, going back to the Bush's Sure Deal and O'Reilly factor, that's kind of our type of cattle, just the stout, powerful, performance type cattle. We didn't get a picture of that cow in the catalog, but that 33 cow is the type of Angus cattle that we want to raise. That girl is just huge backed, huge hipped, monster footed, huge bodied, really good uddered, has a young bull calf on her side, but that little bull calf just had a couple by the other day, and I was like, now don't let that bull calf hurt that cow, because that bull calf's just young, and Clayton was like, well, heck, Adam, what is wrong with that little dude? He's got some shape and some power to him, and just he's a young calf that we might end up splitting off, or we might tie those in as a 3-and-1. We'll see. But either way, would be a heck of a herd bull prospect for somebody for some kind of outcross pedigree stuff. But that 33 cow is just one whale of a cow. We're gonna keep a flush on that one, and like I said, that's just the kind of, I wish I could make 100 of her a day, because that's just the type of Angus cows that we like.
Right, and you're going to offer to whoever wants to come get her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. Before we wrap up here, we go to the back page of the catalog. You got a couple other cow-calf pairs there, and really nice looking heifer calf. But you look down there on the bottom right, and you got the Growth Fund bull from York. So will you tell us that story real quick?
Yeah, this spring we were looking for another herd bull, another Angus bull, and Joel was one of my first guys that came to mind. I really like Joel's program and like what he does right down there the road. So I went down there and visited him before their sale. He was their lot one bull, and that dude just stood out. I mean, just a freight train of a bull, so stout and powerful. That Forever Lady 14 cow is a whale of a cow that Joel has gotten part of. Does a tremendous job for him. And that bull just stood out. So good-footed, so good-legged, but yet so stout and powerful and deep and smooth, and just has everything that we were kind of wanting in a herd bull. And so we were fortunate enough we got him bought, and then I felt good that day because Steve showed up sale day. He had never seen him before the sale, and I said, well, that's the bull that I like. And he literally looked at him and said, yep, that'll work. And then after we got him bought, I was back talking to somebody else, and he ended up buying a maternal sister to that bull that I didn't even know he had gone and looked at. So that just shows you how much we think of that cow family that he's out of. We have a maternal sister to him, and we have him. Joel used him early this spring, and then we've used him just as a January yearling. He covered close to 40 head of cows this spring. It still looks like $1 million. Has just done a really, really good job for us. I'm sure you'll see. So he's the service sire to all 5 of those Angus cows. Again, kind of what we strive for, not show pedigree, but not all out performance, just kind of that blend to breed these cows back to. I think he's really going to work on some of these Insight daughters that are got a little bit more look to them. And I think I'm just really excited to get the first set of calves out of him on the ground. So yeah, that's kind of a interesting bull that all those Angus cows are bred to.
Right, and should add to the bright future there of Lorenzen Angus herd, and keep growing that. Adam, anything else we need to know about this sale before we wrap up here?
No, like I said, just welcome anybody to come by, to contact me if you got any questions. My phone number's there in the front. It's 217-369-3609. Sale September 11th. You're more than welcome to contact me and swing by anytime before the sale. The lunch will be unbelievably good. Justin and Hannah Spittler provide the lunch. It'll be some amazing brisket for lunch. So swing by and have lunch, and just look forward to seeing everybody at the sale. And if you got any questions, like I said, feel free to contact me.
Right, and right there in Chrisman, Illinois. Where is Chrisman? Get us there.
Yep. So we're about 5 miles from the Indiana line, right off of US 36.
Okay.
So about dead center of the state. US 36 runs right in between 70 and 74. So we're about 20 miles from each of those. Just 5 miles from the Indiana line. Real easy to get to. The Route 136 intersection, a few miles south and a mile back east, and so real easy to get to. Like I said, not far off of either interstate or right off of 36.
Yeah, that's about 5 hours from the house. So
yeah,
shoot, I'm gonna get Brandy up there, and we'll come have some brisket and see some good Herefords and Angus.
Yeah. Be glad to have you.
Well, Adam, man, I appreciate you responding to Brandy and getting this thing put together. And want to wish you luck there on the Striving for Integrity sale on September 11th, right there at the farm, Chrisman, Illinois. And again, guys, go check the catalog out if you want to get somebody to get a second eye on these, or a third or a 15th eye on these. Even these guys are there and available, and you can bid on them there on live auctions. Do that, and again, get a hold of Adam. And Adam, man, appreciate it very much, and want to wish you luck on the sale.
Yep, I thank you again, Andy.
All right, well, thank you, and we want to thank you for listening to another edition of Before the Bid podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Before the Bid. For more information and to learn more about upcoming podcasts and sales, visit us at beforethebid.podbean.com or Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram pages. For information on being a guest on Before the Bid, please email us at beforethebid@gmail.com or one of our social media pages. Remember, that's beforethebid@gmail.com. Happy sales to you, and we will talk to you next time on Before the Bid.